Welcome to the latest Learn to Race video. This time out, a bit of fun with a comparison of Assetto Corsa Competizione to real life, with a similar, if not quite the same car. Firstly, let's set the scene. Assetto Corsa Competizione with a fabulous Aston Martin V12 Vantage GT3 at the Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France. This excellent version of the track from Kunos is a very close facsimile to the original. The laser scan data making sure all the hills, dips, curbs and topography are in place. This is one of the tracks in Assetto Corsa Competizione which I think would be enhanced by native triple screen support, which is currently lacking in the version of the game we have at the moment. Or also a virtual reality headset. This is because a couple of the corners are very tight and it requires quite a deep look into the edges of the single screen to track the apexes. That being said, with the limitations of a single screen, we'll do the best that we can. You'll notice as we come down the Mistral straight here that we're using the chicane part way down. Whilst it's not correct for the game, it does tie up with the real life onboard lap that we'll see a little bit later on. One other thing this track highlights, which seems to be an endemic problem with every sim, but it's highlighted in ACC because Assetto Corsa Competizione does exceptionally well at everything else, and that's the low speed traction. In first gear corners, where the speed is really low, all sims seem to suffer from a big drop off in grip levels. Finding the perfect grip balance in a corner without being too slow or understeering wide is really difficult. In real life, using the mechanical grip at low speed is much more intuitive. Whether this is a limitation of the hardware, the software, or perception based on limited sensations, I don't know, but it seems prevalent in all sims, some more than others. Moving on to the car. I've driven a few GT4 Vantages, but not the GT3 unfortunately. One thing the V12 Vantage road car and the GT4 Vantage race car possess is lots of traction. This is borne out by anecdotal evidence of friends who have driven the GT3 who describe the underlying handling characteristics of a stable rear end and understeer. In Assetto Corsa Competizione it can be a bit frisky on the rear axle, and as we've discussed in previous videos, this is where ACC is let down slightly, the uncontrollability over the limit relative to real life. However, it looks great, sounds great, and is fun to drive. Now, I've been fortunate to drive some very cool cars in some very cool locations over the years, and by far my favourite is what we're in now, the Aston Martin Vulcan. So moving to a warm but slightly overcast day at the real Paul Ricard circuit, driving that awesome Vulcan. Much of the running gear is similar to the GT3 but with a few main differences. Firstly, the car itself is made from a carbon tub, unlike the aluminium chassis of the race car. Secondly, despite this carbon tub, it is much heavier than the GT3, what with it being a physically bigger car, very nicely leather trimmed inside, and much of the componentry has been beefed up for reliability and longevity. The most fun difference though is the power, well over 800 horsepower from the naturally aspirated V12. In terms of handling, it has a similar overall aero to the GT3 car, but the aero balance is set towards the back of the car, which along with the long wheelbase makes a general safe understeering balance, ideal for gentlemen drivers. You'll notice a couple of brake dabs around the lap to shift weight over the front wheel to kill some understeer, especially here in the chicane. These laps we're seeing here are the first laps I did in the car to bed in some new tyres and set a datum for the owner to compare in the data. As such, it's not the quickest lap in the world, as I'm ever conscious of the owner's considerable 7-figure investment in the car, and you don't want the datum to be unreachable. You sometimes want to over-emphasise inputs to make sure the client understands the theory. The following day I was fortunate to take some gas for hot laps and was able to knock seconds off the lap, primarily by being flat through the left onto the Mistral straight, dropping a gear through scene to give me more punch out of the corner, carrying more entry and mid-corner speed through the double right, and using first gear at Virage de Pont. All in all, a stunning car and a fabulous circuit to drive on. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel as we talk about simulators and real life racing. And if you've got any comments and want to see anything specific in future videos, please mention it in the comments below.